Faisal, would you say more about the point of light?
Yes, my favorite subject. I'll try to address it so much from a little bit different way than the analytical way. You know, the analytical way is simple, that there is a self, different from the ego self and from the body self, and it's individuated being and perceived by psychics or inner seers as a body of energy or body of light, and Don Juan talk about it to Carlos Castaneda as the double. And I mean, you hear so much about it, you know. And so it's been mentioned psychologically. I think the idea that there is an ego and that ego has a sense of self, to me, indicate something authentic that initiated this concept. Otherwise, this concept wouldn't come from nothing. You know, that to even have an idea that there is a self, you know, and everybody taking it there to be, taking their ego to be that self, indicate an origin. Where does the idea of a self come from? You know, and how does it evolve into being an ego? That's so much in psychology and understanding some of it in terms of, you know, the function of the ego and health and all of that. But to me, it must have an origin. And the origin is that we are all born points of light, we call it, or inner stars. You know, the Basque in Spain, they say children are walking stars till the age of 7, because the age of 7 to 9, they begin to fall and formulate the ego fixation, the Enneagram, you know, formulate around that time. And a separation happened between the ego and this point of light or this inner star. So we are all inner stars. And those inner stars, one is more evolved than the other, depending on the life and evolution they have done. So psychologically, it's been mentioned here and there, but not really tied the connection. But poetically, spiritually, and mystically, it has been mentioned in a variety of ways. So I want to talk about it a little bit, stories that I know from the hidden realm, yeah, from the hidden realm, about personal encounters with different points of light that I found them interesting, still, you know, percolating in my mind. One of them, like about my children, for example. My daughter and my son, both, you know, my wife and me, sensed them before they were born. We sensed something in the air, some kind of, you know, as if there is a soul, as if there is something, somebody wanna come, you know? And since we were oriented in this work, and since we were open to the possibility that there may be souls, you know, and maybe we can contact them. So we try to open our heart and mind to feel them. And by time we could feel them, you know. I know that my daughter was there, you know, not long before she landed, because mother and I got married and she zoomed in, you know. My son, he had to wait 3 years because we had to prepare and we had to do all kinds of things. And we both felt that we were not ready to receive such a soul. And it felt very beautiful, pure soul, full of light and full of joy and all of those things. And we felt that we are not ready, you know. And my wife, bless her soul, felt like she really needed to cleanse her womb from all the conditioning, you know, merging with her mother and the environment and the conditioning and the grief and the personality. She felt there was so much stuff there, you know, and we both worked on ourselves to purify, you know, 3 years till we felt it's time. And then he landed. Felt like this being of light landed. There was a book called The Sexual Life of the Savages. I don't know whether you heard of it. I think Mead, I think, you know, and in which he visited one of the old tribes, you know, an ancient tribe living in, I don't know, somewhere, you know. And when she went there, she noticed something very amazing, that children were raised to be free to do whatever they need to do, beside collecting fruits and flowers and this for the tribe. The tribe was matriarchal. It was not patriarchal. Children are raised, like the boys are raised by the uncle and not the father. So there was no Oedipal situation. Daughter raised by the aunts, you know, they eliminated all the sexual hang-ups that there is. And when they reach teenage, when those kids reach teenage, they build a huge cottage for them. And those kids, they just go enjoying themselves, making love and whatever, teenage, till the age 17, 18 years old. And the children go gather fruit, and the tribe brings them food, and they just give them that joy, the freedom of having sexual aliveness and love and union. None of the girls got pregnant. So she was really surprised. How come? You know, then she asked the shaman there, and the shaman laughed. He said, you know, yeah, no one get pregnant because there are so many souls of his children hanging around, but they don't enter till the woman feels it's the right time. Usually around the age 17 and 18, the woman, one of the girls and one of the boys, reach a level of soul mating, love, connection, deepening, and they feel they belong to each other and they want to get married. So they leave the teenagers. They go to the tribe in the you know, and they build them a cottage in the village, and they get married. Then they have children. They never have children before that. And the shaman was telling them that those souls cannot enter, you know, unless the fontanelle open up. The top of the head open up to receive. And when the female in her total integrity, integrated in her system, and the right time, the right situation, and the man, the right time, the right situation, this field opens up, and there are souls that come, souls of children come and get born. So they know about souls, they know about these, what we call points of light, you know, and there is a whole system that is much healthier than the system that we now, you know, live in. There's confusion of sexuality and all of those things. So sometimes children come at the wrong time, sometimes the right, I mean, you name it, you know, all of those things. But there is a sacred reality in which there are souls and there are regulations for that system, how to be and how to evolve. And violating that system leads to all the, I don't know, neurosis and psychosis we suffer from. And if we are in alignment with it, there is infinite potential of growth and evolution for the soul. And then the soul can bring it in its reincarnation, you know, and manifest that evolution, you know, into any form it wants to. This lifetime may be music. So we have like grand souls coming, like Mozart, Bach, Beatles. They came with such magnificent music. And so souls bring blessings from that dimension of utmost creativity of being to evolve the kingdom we live in, because this kingdom is evolving and we are its guardian and its creators, and we evolve. When we lose connection to our being and to this kingdom and to who we are, when we get separated to the level that we become alien, so schizoidal, so dissociated from this being of light, we become a lonely ego, a separate ego, lost in bardo, lost in mind and in conditioning, you know. And that's why, like, the separation, to me, from what I have seen, one of the loneliest countries in the world is America, as if the souls have separated so far away, you know, and people live such a lonely, isolated ego life. Not bad, they sacrifice a lot to reach, to do what they need to do. But they lost connection. That's why spirituality now flooding the West, being born in the West, you know, when the iron bird flies and, you know, the spirituality is coming to the West because of the separation. But that's another issue. Why and how is another issue. But we are those beings of light. We separate for a purpose, to challenge it, to evolve it, to bring the blessing and continue to grow. These beings of light do not come the way we usually think they are. Like part of the prejudice we have in spirituality, we think every guru must be so highly enlightened and so highly evolved, and an ordinary person also so regressed. Sometimes this way, sometimes different, So some of the things that I encountered were really amazing. Like I encountered, I am able to detect people when they leave the body, when they die. I can go into transparency and feel where their point of light is. Often this being of light does not leave alone. It takes with it its conditioning. The ego, the history, surround it like a bubble. And inside this bubble is this being of light. And this being of light is looking through this bubble at the infinite vastness of the universe, the absolute shining. But they cannot see it because they are looking through the veils and the boundaries of these personality structures, ego structures, conditioning, karma, all of those things. So the ego suffers, and the result is that it might go through the bardo of the passage of the Tibetans, like 49 days and incarnate. I've seen it differently too. I've seen so many passages that are not necessarily like that. I've seen souls get guided by higher beings in that realm, come to rescue it, come to give it divine love and grace, like the Christ or the high beings, Bodhisattvas come and help it illuminate and reach the light, not necessarily going through 45 days. Some of those scenes that I witnessed in that realm, like when there was 9/11, there was about 3,000 or 4,000 people died in a horrific way, killed and all of those things. I just zoomed in that area and I could witness that there was a ring of entities, high beings, very high beings, surrounding their souls, surrounding them and saying, please calm down. They're trying to calm them down from the trauma, from the shock, from the pain, from the horror, and talking to them, soothing them, comforting them, and till they reach the level of forgiveness, that they're trying to also to save them from the rage and the anger of being violated, and then to come back and decide to revenge from those who killed them, whoever they are. Because this is how karma, continues. Whoever lived by the sword shall die by the sword. It continues. I kill them and they kill me, and never ends, that cycle. So they were surrounding them days. Each time I go, high beings, Dalai Lamas, entities, all of those things, comforting them and taking them to the light. Please come to the light. Let go. The trauma has happened, the shock has happened, you lost your life, but please don't continue the karmic wheel. Get out of it. So that's another way of sometimes seeing. But I remember some of it were like really shocking things. Like I remember one of the high gurus, I don't know whether to mention the name or not, very well-known guru, who was supposedly to even the psychic, when they saw him in India, they brought him to the West and saw him as a Mahastar, as a great star. Many of the psychic at that time, Ledbetter, and I don't know, many of them went there and they were able to see the point of light as the star. They talk about it in the psychic realm. And they saw his star and they saw this must be the second coming star, the Mahastar coming, And he was a young kid, so they brought him to America, trying to raise him as the Christ. But he knew he wasn't. He was scared. So his inner child, what we call in psychology, his inner child or his ego, got so terrified and hid in his lower center, what we call the perineum, in the lowest center. That child was hiding there, afraid of the immensity of what he is asked to be. He couldn't be that. Yet the master himself, his consciousness, his point of light was very big. He became very famous teacher. He wrote many books. He taught so many, he lived in LA till he passed away, And he used to say, for 30 years, headache comes and headache goes, which indicate his level of consciousness was so high that he can witness the headache without identifying with it, without getting, stuck in it. But he did not know what's it about. Somehow his splitting was so severe that he dissociated this as ego, as mind, as all of those things, and pushed them away and focus on transcendence and the absolute and mind and nature of mind. And the unconscious was not dealt with. That's why nowadays, psychology that we have is really like salvation, knowledges of the unconscious, of the ego, of the formation, of the mother, father. It's a map that's so beautiful that simplifies a journey that was not addressed before. Now we have the diamond lens to see what's in the unconscious that blocks the absolute and blocks the point of light. Now we have incredible map, really incredible. He didn't have that. What he did is that he did the usual routine of splitting that off as ego. And that ego was nothing but his inner child, afraid, scared, hiding in his perineum. When he died, that part came out, and got him in the bardo. In the bardo, his point of light was encased by the iron pearl. The fear of existence, the fear of life, the fear of all of those things and all of that. He struggled with it till he liberated. He got guidance and blessing and grace to release, to see that he split off this part of his psychological structure, his inner child, that he needed to deal with it, that even though he got enlightened, this part didn't join, this part hid. So could enlightenment be incomplete? You bet. You can be awakened to the absolute, but in other areas, it's completely under the influence of the unconscious. So that was really amazing for me. Here is somebody I admired so much, and I read so much, and all of this, and that level of conscious enlightenment, and I felt so bad because I cannot reach it. And in Bardo, I could see how he was like, my God, he needed divine grace, divine intervention. And this is when another encounter with another point of light was one of the great Tibetan masters, that I encountered in my life. In fact, the first guru I ever met, 1972 or 73, was His Holiness the 15th Karmapa. A joy, a sunshine. That was really breath of freshness, even though I didn't know what a Buddhist is and what a Rinpoche is. Nothing. All I know is that my friend says, somebody, hi, coming, let's go. I say, I go. I have no idea. So I go there, I am in his presence, and he did the black hat ceremony and the transmission. And that's the first time I experienced freshness of the absolute, pure being, a wave of lightness and freshness. But I didn't know what it was. I didn't have the knowledge that there is even enlightenment, All I felt like a breeze of lightness and freshness, and I was standing with 3,000 or 4,000 people, and he was far away on stage, And then when he put on the hat, as if a tsunami of radiant, clear space going through all the static minds of all the people, and the whole, I don't know, it was Pier 39, this whole place became just clear, simple radiance, and I felt fresh. Like when you are in the mountain, fresh. But I didn't know that was enlightenment. I thought, that's really nice. Then I had, after that, I went to him. He was giving us blessings and a thread, and he transmitted, some kind of love and joy, to see me. Somehow was laughing, and I was laughing. I don't know why. I stood in front of him and just feeling joy and laughter, and I feel how much he really was transmitting love. Then he passed away, years later. He passed away because of cancer, and he passed away. And when I heard about it, at that time, I had my realization of the Buddha nature. I got awakened to it officially. Not, not like that. I recognized it, I owned it. My teacher made sure that I know it, and I come back to it again, and name it and define it and differentiate it. So I knew that I knew. Before I knew, but I didn't know that I knew. This one I knew, and I knew that I knew, was really very good. In that field of freshness and openness, I said, oh, I hear the Dalai Lama just passed away. Let me feel where he is, And because of my heart and my little grandiose self at that time, maybe I can even help him because he died out of cancer, I thought maybe he got caught in the realm of pain. Let me see if he wants any help, anything, I am there. So I opened the absolute transparency and all of that thing. And I said, where are you? Then I could feel his presence. And I said, can I help you in any way? Do you need anything? Can I offer you anything? Then I said, grandiosely, can I even help you? He said, yes. I said, would you like me to guide you to basically? I said, yes. So I said, okay, now we enter this, and I feel this light, this pink light, okay, and now we're entering pink light, and we enter golden light, and light, and each time I enter a dimension, I'm like talking to him to follow me, I always sense there is something not right, I look, he's always ahead of me, and I thought he was following me. It was him guiding me into the one dimension of another. He sensed my love. He sensed I was just a new kid in the neighborhood, full of joy, full of love. He didn't want to offend my ego or my grandiosity. He wanted to make me feel as if I am the guide when he was guiding me. Tonight, when we entered luminosity, I look at him and he was shining like sunshine, his point of light, opening fully, laughing at me, and we both laughing like, my God, thank you, really, thank you for all of this. So this is another story of point of light journey. One journey that was also made like a huge, turned my beliefs upside down or challenge all my limitations about soul and soul journey and evolution, and it was about, I had a client, an older client. She used to come, her husband will bring her to me, and he was such a lovely man, he was, I think for those who know about the Enneagram, he was 9 on the Enneagram. Everything was okay, fine. He doesn't need to do any work on himself. He is happy, he's contented. So he would greet me, hi boss. I say, hi boss. He is his own boss. I am my own boss. But he always will call me his younger friend. Then he got ill. He got sick, and they told me that he was sick. So I would go visit him, And then one day they told me, his wife told me, please come. He is dying, So that was the day before he left, he left one day later. I was sitting by him and he couldn't talk. So I said to him, would you like me to help you? Would you like me to guide you? I know how to exit. At that time, I knew how to do Poa, the Tibetan way of exiting, teaching the point of light to exit from the top of the head and enter the light. And he said, he just signaled me to help him. So I started doing the exercise for him to let go of this and let go of that and let go of the family and love and let go of his body until he reached the top of the head to exit. And when he reached the top of the head, everything in the room changed. The energy began to shine and illuminate like something majestic manifested in the field. And I really didn't know what it was, So I look and there was this kingly entity, this person with a crown and jewels and sitting on a throne, lotus throne, made all of a platinum gold, purity and love and groundedness and awakenedness. And I said, I never seen this one. This is not the Dalai Lama, this is not the Karmapa, this is not any other guru I know. Who is it? you know. I said, who are you? You know, he said, my young friend, don't worry about me. It was him. I said, what? This is why? What is happening? He said, I wanted to come to this lifetime to experience being an ordinary human being. You know, I just wanted to get married, have children, barbecue my hamburgers and hot dogs, and take care of this crazy woman, take her to every spiritual meeting. You know, I didn't want to be involved in any spirituality. I just wanted to know how is a human being life is, because I've done my spiritual homework. I came to do this, you know, and that shifted the paradigm. And then, of course, he showered me with blessings and love as he, you know, then exited, you know, to go there. That shifted the paradigm of, you know, like, here is this guru sitting on the thrones, and, you know, like, some of them were so grandiose, trapped in one domain after another. I've seen them caught in those domains. And here is somebody so ordinary, was a true bodhisattva, true avatar, that way. Then the chapter about the point of light opened up. That we are magical beings, you know. A garbage collector could be higher than any guru sitting with a crown on their heads. You know, doesn't mean every guru is bad. It doesn't mean you know, but some bodhisattvas are in worldly life taking on things that usually ordinary people might not be able to do. So instead of going into this prejudice of enlightenment and limitations, open to the hidden realm. And in this hidden realm, I witnessed things so incredible. So incredible. Different points of light, there's different emanations and purposes and soul. And I mean, I don't know, it's a goat market full of so much. And we are just busy about so much, you know, philosophical and these things about spirituality that to me is missing the point, literally. The point of light is being missed. You know? So these are some of the, you know, of the stories from the hidden realm that I feel these are normal. Why don't we have so much of them? You know, why don't we have the TV stories like this? Why don't we have, you know, like Star Wars Get Close, you know, Close Encounter Get Close, all of these things, you know, that we see, even Close Encounter, the spaceship that lands, Matter spaceship. There is the equivalent of it in the essential domain. There is a vehicle like that, grand vehicle. When it lands, it feels, you know, swing low, sweet chariot, take us home. There's so much glory to us. But not just in the absolute is fine, but in this kingdom, in this threefold kingdom.
So beautiful.
Thanks. Thanks.